Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Luxury Podcast, your source for all things luxury and lifestyle. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Claudia Duran on the line, and she's a VIP matchmaker over at Elite Connections. Claudia, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, Adam.
All right, so I'm excited to get into today's topic. So VIP matchmaking. I mean, a lot of business owners, executives, entrepreneurs listening today, and let's just say that there's a problem there. We have these, very high functioning and successful people out there, and when you're in that situation, maybe you don't have as much time to do the normal, let's just say, dating. And when you go out for your one night a week that you have off, you don't want to spend it wasted in a bar. You want to have a real connection. You want to have a real conversation. So we're going to get into that. But before we do, give us a little bit more about your background. So tell us how you got into the matchmaking business, please.
So sure. So, I fell into the matchmaking business with Sherry Murphy, who's our CEO. Her and I were put in touch through a friend who was using the service. And I turned my nose up at it at first, and I thought, matchmaking, this is so dumb. I had come from working for big brands like Playboy, Hallmark Channel, and I had just finished working for a startup launching in the private jet business. So a lot of really glamorous, luxurious, fun kind of brands, and our paths intersected. And she said, we really like you, and we want you to come on board and refer us some quality singles, which is actually one of the ways that matchmaking, particularly high-end matchmaking, works very much on referrals, networking, partnering with other social influencers, leaders in the community, and the like, in order to find those quality singles. A lot of the times people say, well, how do you find these people? And that's one of the ways.
No, I love it. I love it. And it makes so much sense that it has to be done that way, because it's not like your clientele that you want to match or want to be matched with. They're not really and I'm not saying everybody, right, but they're probably not like on the dating apps, not signing up for everything. Like, they don't need to make this match. They want to when it's appropriate and when the right fit's there. So I don't want to use the word desperate, but it's not like this push like you have to. It's more like you're open. And I think that's a great transition into what being a VIP matchmaker means and kind of what that looks like. So tell us a little bit more about that end of things.
Particularly the Playboy part, probably, right?
Well, you could if you like.
Well, I've always had like this love affair with beauty and making brands shine and making them look good and making them sound good. And I've always been very passionate about that. So I think that's probably what Sherry saw or heard in me. And then she just said, she knew that I was heading back to Miami, and we do memberships that are California, Florida, and New York based, the three hot areas for matchmaking, particularly luxury matchmaking. And I gotta tell you, it's just kind of the way. It's sort of like you have your gifts, and then sometimes they're just brought out of you, like serendipitously, and that's exactly what happened with the matchmaking.
Talk a little bit more about the process, because for people that are listening that have never used a matchmaking service or anything of that nature, they may not know exactly, like, are they comfortable, are they not comfortable, they haven't really heard of it, especially if their circle of friends haven't maybe used one before. Like, talk a little bit more about that, what it looks like.
Sure. So the beautiful thing about a matchmaking agency is, and you always want, if you're looking at matchmaking or considering matchmaking, or even like if you were me, where you turn your nose up at it and thought it was something that is dated, it's not. It's a very, very, very current, hot way of meeting a very selective, discerning type of person. Whether you are the discerning person or the person you're discerning, it goes both ways. So the beautiful thing about it is people who work with a matchmaking agency are invested. That's the most important thing, Adam. They're invested. They're invested emotionally. They're invested financially. They're even invested, logistically, like, okay, I'm available. the timing is good in my life right now emotionally to meet someone. I am open to something special above and beyond what I could find on other modalities. Not that there's anything wrong with the other modalities, but they have a certain amount of investment. So those are the people that come to us. They fill out the paperwork, they get interviewed, they have their IDs checked, they have a background check. So, these people aren't going to subject themselves to that type of scrutiny and process if they weren't really invested. So there you got a different qualified group of individuals.
No, I love it. And let's talk a little bit more about the kind of that vetting part that you were just talking about. Because I agree with you. Number one, you become you're more vested. Let's just be honest. To go through a background check, to go through all these other things you just mentioned, that takes more work and effort than signing up and swiping right or whatever, left or however. So just throwing it out there, like you're more vested. I mean, there's a process here, right? So talk a little bit more kind of like the vetting, the other part of it, and that's so that both the men and women listening kind of get a feel for how it looks, because I don't want this to be just a conversation from the male point of view. I want the women's side too.
Sure. So the thing is, we've been in business 26 years. Okay. So we have the luxury of being able to find people who we feel are going to be, that are solid candidates for matchmaking. Not everybody is a good candidate for matchmaking. And so the men and the women that come to us, first we start off with an interview. We'll give them a consultation over the phone. We're very generous with our time on the phone. We want to make them feel comfortable. We want to listen to them. We want to get their demographic information. Don't forget, matchmakers are, innately part therapist, part recruiter. So we're looking at this very much as if we were looking at just filling a high-level job role, but we're looking at it from the point of view of our clients. So we're looking for the matches, we're listening for the commonalities, and there's a very human touch to it that you can't get by swiping. And that's a whole other, I did a whole interview series in Business Insider on swiping, and that's a whole other bucket of, mass availability, and particularly now, but, I won't get into that right now. So there's an interview process and there's a one-on-one process. Then, if we feel that, we'll give you more or less our membership tiers based on the demographics. You want to cover not the demographics, you say the locations that you want, or maybe there's just one location, because many of our clients have many homes at different places. They want to be matched in different places, or they travel quite a bit. So, it's all that is sort of the due diligence that goes into the first step. Then the second step is an in-person meeting, where we're going to share a few profiles of potential matches to get an idea of what that person would be attracted to, what's important to them. We have a very sincere discussion, sort of a psychological discussion. And oftentimes in these conversations, what I love so much about this and doing this at this point in my life is I get to connect with people on a very real level, because when you're talking about love and you're talking about sex and you're talking about relationships, things come up that are very, that are intimate by nature. And people, if we, the matchmakers, are doing our jobs right, we're making them feel comfortable in order so that they can open up, feel comfortable, and share what they normally wouldn't share with people. I can't tell you how many times I've had people say to me, God, I've never talked about this before, or I feel really uncomfortable saying this, or please don't get me wrong. And it's just like, I always reassure them, like, listen, I'll never say I've heard it all, but I've heard a lot. And the more you share with me, the better I'm able to help you. So it's in your best interest. So there's that personal touch. Then, what we do is we do run the background checks. We do, verify identification. We do, verify height, weight, eye color, hair color. We do verify all of those things to make sure that what we are presenting, the profiles that we're presenting to our clients, whether it's our lady clients or our gentleman clients, are transparent and authentic. And we make sure that they are recent photos as well, which, it's a huge complaint on the online sites. Like, oh, this guy had a profile from 1970 and he doesn't even look like that anymore. Or now he's like 40 pounds heavier, blah, 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 blah. So
don't judge me, Claudia. Don't judge. No.
Are you?
I was not born in the 70s, but don't judge. I had to, though. I had to, because there's some people out there listening are like, don't judge me, Claudia. So I'm going to throw that out there for them that are listening, all right?
Right? So that's yeah.
And I think that's a great way to end it. No, seriously, Claudia. So it's been awesome having you on the show, seriously. If somebody's listening to this and they want more information on Elite and working with you or the agency, I mean, what's the best way for them to reach out and get more info?
Sure. So I'd be happy to talk to them. They can reach us at 1-800-923-4200. That's 1-800-923-4200, or visit us at eliteconnections.com.
All right, fantastic. Well, hey, Claudia, again, great having you on the show today. Appreciate you giving us some background on what you're doing and all the great work as a VIP matchmaker. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store, and if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Luxury, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the comment section. I mean, love to hear what kind of projects and things you're working on. Let's take the conversation over to the YouTube community. And Claudia, thanks again for coming on the show.